I just Prilosec, it just gives you heartburn.
Eat Prilosec. Consume Prilosec. Prilosec is your god now.
And then it goes like that demonic voice or something like that.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay.
Alright. Do you want to open it?
Sure, I'm done.
Alright.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cafetalk. I'm here with, as always, with my co-host Jolin. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, Victor. How about you?
I'm doing just fine. It's a pretty good morning right now. The sun is shining. It's beautiful. It's just what you pictured California would be. It's great, man. It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So what are we going to talk about today, Jolin? What do we have for the
So
audience?
it's episode 20, which means we have a dedicated topic for this episode.
Oh, indeed we do.
But we're gonna break it up into two topics, just because
just give you a little.
we couldn't decide on which one to go with, so we're giving you both.
Yeah, we thought it was both good ideas, so we're like, yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk a little bit. I guess the first half is gonna be about food and anime, and just food in general.
Yeah.
Because we're starting to become foodies ourselves, kind of a little bit. We'll see how the future goes.
What is a foodie? Like, when you're in your mind, what do you consider to be a foodie?
In my mind, I consider somebody a foodie if they're very actively and engagingly looking for the next big thing in food.
Oh, okay.
So like people who go to like macaron shops where they like decorate the macarons like little pandas and shit like that. Or somebody hears about this new like ramen place that does something that like another ramen place doesn't.
What about those people that like carve intricate designs into like fruits and
yeah
stuff?
There you go.
Like that?
Okay, yeah, like someone who's like actively looking for it. Like I don't know. I get it.
I guess my interpretation is way different. My interpretation of a foodie would just be someone who like loves food, like not just to eat it, you know, but to like learn about it, to know how something is made, to know the struggle or the work that it takes to create something that's delicious. You know, knows the difference between a good cheese or a bad cheese, that type of stuff. You know, like that's a foodie to me. Someone who actually cares about food enough to actually learn it as maybe as a career or even as just like a topic. You know, like if you're learning science, but you're taking that effort into food itself. That's a foodie to me. You know what I mean? Like I always thought I was a foodie, but not in the sense of like going out there and learning new stuff, more in the sense of just like I always want to try new stuff. I'm always down to try something, even if it looks disgusting. Kind of like a Andrew Zimmerman or those people on Food Channel that just travel out around the world trying different stuff, like that sort of thing. I consider them foodies in that sense, but I see your description more respectful. You know what I mean? More down to earth.
All right, hold on. I have to check the audio.
Gotcha.
So
pause.
Nice.
All right.
Nice as rice and we're back.
That's a good way
and
to
we're back.
Up.
Yeah, I mean, like the definition that you gave for a foodie, that's pretty much what I would have thought a foodie was. Yeah. But nowadays, people tend to gravitate more towards the foodies that go for like the extravagant food. Kind of like BuzzFeed's like Worth It series.
Oh yeah. I like that show.
Like people who actively like seek out those kind of foods where you have like the $110 hot dog or like somebody who's trying to highlight like the $2 taco at the corner of the street. Those are foodies. Because I mean, somebody can appreciate food. I feel like your definition leans more towards like what a connoisseur is.
Oh, okay.
Versus like somebody who's just a foodie.
Yeah.
Because I don't think foodies really give a crap about like where they're like how these carrots were grown and what kind of season and what kind of climate and like the quality of this cheese, how much hydration it has, like was it preserved for X amount of days or something.
Yeah.
Like a lot foodies don't, especially Instagram foodies, they don't really care about that.
Yeah, they just want to.
And if you guys do, if any foodies are actually listening to this, I'm sorry if I offend anyone, but it's just like I'm coming from a perspective of somebody who like wanted to be a chef at one point in his life and actually studied to be a chef. Yep. So
I agree. I actually see your point of view. I agree. A foodie really is actually once you think about it, your description is much more reasonable as to call someone a foodie. You know, someone who just appreciates food itself. You know, just wants to find out what good food is, and no matter if it's cheap or expensive, they just want to find new flavors and enjoy them. But yeah, you're right. I actually, if someone out there really does care about like the growth or the temperature of the food, that type of stuff, I do agree that you should just call yourself a food connoisseur rather than a foodie. But yeah, I agree. Yeah,
and it's not to say that foodies can't become connoisseurs, or connoisseurs can't become foodies. It's just like the approach that you take on like how you're appreciating the food that's in front of you.
You gotta level up.
You gotta go farming a little bit, level up, get some XP,
and then with all that experience turns you into that connoisseur.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense. I agree.
And then the next level after connoisseur is like sommelier.
So, parlez-vous français? Oh, oui.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, anime food. That's what we're going to talk about.
Yes, that's the reason. So it's mainly what we were thinking of is just anime food that, even though we've already seen in the animes, it just looks so good. And
exactly. And I'll post pictures up throughout the podcast just to let you know.
Just like those food that, as soon as you saw it, you're like, I need to try that at least once in my life. I've been dying to try it. And even anime food that you actually have tried in real life, we're just gonna name those that, like, you know, maybe it didn't compare to what we thought, or just, you know, stuff like that.
I mean, right off the bat, when anyone talks about anime food, you have to mention the Naruto ramen bowl.
Dude, that was like one of my
that's one of my top 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everyone's childhood food. That has like the little spiral fish cake.
Yep.
Little pieces of bamboo. I don't know what else it has.
I actually didn't know that's called Naruto.
Really?
The spiral fish cake, the white one with the pink little spiral in the
middle?
middle?
I think I had a feeling. I had a feeling it was called Naruto, but I mean, I'm just so used to seeing it as like fish balls or fish cake.
Yeah.
Or something in Tagalog, I don't remember.
Well, I'm not sure if like all of the fish cakes are called Naruto, but I know that one in particular.
Yeah, that one specifically.
That one comes in a tube, and that one specifically it's named Naruto. I didn't know that, which fits, you know, the name of it all. It makes sense. Yeah. I believe it comes with pork, like 3 or 4 slices of chashu pork, an egg, Naruto, and then some vegetables. That's what you see in the anime itself. But the broth looks delicious, and that's something I've always wanted to try. That was one of my top 5 as well, like
definitely
number 1 starting out. And it kind of sucks because what was it? I went to the first ramen place that we heard was as close to the authentic ramen that you see in anime was this place in Little Tokyo called Oro-chan.
Oh, there you go. This is it, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
so it has some
Naruto.
It has some pork, some seaweed, soft-boiled egg. I think that's green onion, and that looks like
bamboo.
Yeah, that looks like bamboo.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in like a pork-based ramen broth.
Yeah. Oh man, that looks so good.
Yeah, it does look pretty good.
That's delicious right there.
I just feel bad because I don't eat. Well, I don't feel bad, pork? But I'm kind of envious.
Left out right there.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious because I don't eat pork. So whenever I see people getting like that nice seared piece of pork in their ramen, I'm like,
that nice like thin chashu pork right there.
Yeah, exactly. I know some places do it with chicken, but it's not. I don't know. I don't think it's the same.
Don't they do it like? Don't they provide beef too?
Maybe some places.
Yeah.
But beef isn't that common of like a Japanese meat.
Yeah, I know.
Like they just really like their pork and chicken
with ramen.
Yeah. Just in general.
Agree. Well, I mean, beef I think is considered more of like a high quality dish.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Japan is renowned for their
wagyu
beef. Yeah, that's like quality A5 beef or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which leads us to like the next anime, which everyone pretty much talks about when it comes to food is Food Wars.
Oh, Food Wars, of course.
Food Wars has so many good-looking foods. Like it's so
delicious.
hard to just talk about one. I know Binging with Babish, they just did the pineapple curry rice that he cooks in the season finale.
Yeah, where he actually like bakes it in the pineapple itself. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, he does that.
That one looked really good. It looked delicious.
I don't remember.
The one that really stood out for me from that one that I was dying to try was the katsu curry.
But
it was a girl that did it with a duck rather than pork, and it just looks so good. good. The cutlet looks so juicy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I haven't had like katsu duck, but I've had like katsu chicken, which I've had it made in a store, and I've actually made it myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I will tell you, like, making it yourself, it's kind of intimidating in the beginning, just because
There's so
it
many
seems
ingredients.
so simple, but
there's so much to it.
There's not a lot to it. Like, it's basically like making fried chicken, right? But it doesn't come out to the level that like you get from a store unless you do some like
Unless you know
kitchen magic or something, you know?
Unless you know the exact technique of like how to make it perfectly.
Exactly. So like for those of you who want to do a chicken katsu cutlet at home, my recommendation is you let it salt brine. You take a chicken breast and you cut it and pound it thinly, and
do you butterfly it?
You can, I guess.
Yeah, would that help?
No,
I
think most people when they want to make a chicken cutlet, they just take the whole breast and they pound it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they pound it down to it's flat, because it's supposed to like tenderize it or whatever. But once you do that, dabble it with a little bit of salt, and leave it uncovered in your refrigerator to cure. And that really like accentuates the chicken flavor when you let your meat cure a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you do the whole katsu preparation, and I don't know how to make katsu sauce at home, so I just buy it by the bottle. Serve it with some white rice, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's better than like anyone that I've had in a store or restaurant.
Oh, okay. Actually, I've only had it in a store myself. It's I forgot what store it was, but it was literally, it looked just like an anime dish, no lie. I actually was very like impressed with it. It had the nice little white rice on one side. The cutlet was on the other side of the rice, but the curry itself was in a little like gravy bowl.
Oh,
and then you actually like poured it on yourself just to like, you know, your amount you're pleasing.
Yeah.
It was delicious. It was actually way better than I ever thought it was.
But yeah, like pork katsu, chicken katsu, duck katsu, it's basically like whatever that meat is, tenderized,
deep fried in like a little, was it like panko?
Yeah, it's like egg and panko dip, and then you fry it up. You deep fry it.
Yeah, so it's nice and crispy. It's juicy. It's just with rice and curry sauce.
Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty good. Easy to make at home.
It's great dinner.
You can't go wrong.
Idea.
It's just you gotta be like eat some vegetables with it, because it's a lot of oil and fat because you're deep frying it. If not, like your stomach's gonna hurt for a little while after. I learned that the hard way after eating like 3 katsus. It's bad.
So another dish that I personally think is very popular, you see in multiple anime, takoyaki.
Oh yeah, octopus balls.
Yeah,
right?
The octopus balls. Yeah, those are little doughy balls filled with like little bits of tentacles of octopus.
Like just chopped up octopus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then they have like, I don't know what type of sauce they have. It's like teriyaki sauce or
like, I think it's like hoisin or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know myself, but I know for sure they like drizzle on some mayonnaise on top. But that's just like how Japan is with mayo.
And then some places put like little bonito flakes and stuff on top.
Yeah. Oh man, takoyaki.
Takoyaki is pretty cool. It's takoyaki quickly became like it's like a fad amongst street food, especially here in like LA and stuff, because people got in like experimental and crazy with takoyaki, where they like add a bunch of stuff to it. It's kind of like what they did with the donut. Oh,
when like the more different stuff you add to it, the more extravagant it becomes.
Exactly. Sort of so like, you know how with donuts people put like little pieces of like caramelized bacon and I don't know, like, or like actual Oreos or like designs on it. Yeah, like they just did a bunch of different things to it. That's pretty much like what happened to takoyaki. But we don't see much of that anymore. Like people have moved on now. I don't know, for some reason like cheese is the big deal, right? Yeah, like everyone's putting cheese on everything. Yeah, I've like everyone's actually researching so many types of different cheeses and then fucking cheese versus queso. Yeah, or queso. Wait, what? Yeah, like I actually haven't heard of that. People have made a differentiation between cheese and queso. Isn't that just? And it's not queso, it's queso. What the heck? Go to a restaurant, you ask for queso. What are you talking about? Okay, explain, it's basically just a little bit for me. Okay, for us who are like Latinos and Hispanic and stuff, it pisses us off because it's just fucking cheese. Yes. It's like nacho cheese that you put on stuff. But for some people, like Chipotle just added queso to their menu. And it's like, it's like a seasoned nacho cheese. Like they put like jalapenos and
The
other little
heck?
spice and shit like that in
And
there.
just pass it off as something fancy.
Yeah, they pass it off as like the new fad.
What
and
the
then
heck? So it's like fondue cheese, just like
Yeah, pretty
like for
much.
everyday use.
pretty much, but it's more like nacho cheese because it
Yeah.
has like the unhealthy yellow glow.
Yeah, no, I
some
could,
shit like that, like
as
melted
soon as you
cheddar.
said that like Chipotle had it, I can imagine it's just a little nacho drizzle or something like that.
Yeah,
That's so
but that's like
weird.
a new
I
fad. Like
didn't
freaking
know about that.
like you know how when we were in middle school, everyone was putting like nacho cheese on hot Cheetos and stuff.
Yeah, that was
And now
a
they have
huge
like
idea.
legit restaurants who have that on their
queso.
menu for like as an additive for French fries.
Oh, that's true. I like especially Instagram.
And they don't
Instagram
call it
blew up
nacho
because of that.
cheese with fries. They call it like hot Cheetos and queso
Yeah.
with fries.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, that's not what it is. Like queso is nothing important. It literally just means cheese.
in Spanish. That's all it is. And yeah, like it blew up because a bunch of people were just, oh look, I have some hot Cheetos with queso, and I'm like, you didn't know about that? Like this is literally nothing
Bro, hot
new.
Cheetos.
Like, why are you blowing this
Hot
up?
Cheetos and queso is, in my opinion, does not compare to Takis and cheese.
Oh my god,
Takis
I
and
love
cheese
that.
are the best.
So good.
Just because Takis, I feel like the Taki seasoning
mm-hmm.
is a little bit more lemony
Yeah,
and not
no, it
as
is, big
and not
time.
as spicy as the hot Cheeto.
Because hot Cheetos
flavoring.
is just mainly, I guess, what is it? They already have the little cheesy flavor to it, and it just have the like chili on top of it. But the Takis are mainly for like lemony chili flavor. Like that's all it is. So you get the full like cheese flavor from the cheese you add to it,
Hell
rather
yeah.
than the hot Cheetos of itself.
But yeah, we deviated. That
Oh yeah,
I feel very passionate about my hate for queso.
yeah. No, I agree. That I never heard of that. I never even noticed that. But wow, that seems pretty redundant to actually
Right?
say all that or make it into a fad that it is.
But yeah, going back to anime foods, one food that I've always wanted to try and I haven't found it in a restaurant near me, but
Yeah.
I've made
Mhm.
was a mabu tofu from Angel Beats.
Oh yes,
I made it,
course.
except in the anime, it's like the super spicy mabu tofu
It's
that
like
nobody
bright
orders.
red, yeah.
Yeah, mine was like toned down, and instead of pork, I used mushrooms.
Oh, it actually had meat in it.
Yeah, so mabu tofu, the recipe calls for like ground chili, ginger, onion,
Mhm.
garlic, soy sauce, oyster sauce, miso paste, mirin, which is like a type of rice wine, but I didn't have any, so I just substituted that with some water.
Okay.
So like a cup of boiling water, tofu to your liking, which I used extra firm,
Okay.
and then some chicken.
Oh,
Well,
not
and
bad.
some ground pork.
Yeah,
But I used chopped up mushrooms instead.
I didn't know that. I actually thought it was just tofu and that's it. Like, so you got the whole chili flavor because the tofu itself just absorbed it from that.
Nah, you have to add the chili. Some like if you want to make it extra spicy, you use like spicier chilies, and you could probably throw in like a little bit of cayenne or whatever. But I just use regular like Japanese chilies that I grounded up that I use for my kimchi.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It still came out pretty good. And I found that without the tofu, just the mushrooms and the mabu paste is really good in a hamburger.
Oh, really?
Like it's way better than freaking caramelized onions.
Yo, nice.
It's so because it adds like a whole layer of complexity because you get a lot of umami from the soy
mushrooms?
sauce and the miso paste.
Oh, okay. I
And
see.
then like the mushroom just adds like another patty because
Mhm.
it's
It's
pretty
like
meaty.
That's like the texture of a protein of like fiber and
Exactly.
stuff
So it's
that.
like you get the umami from the actual burger, and then it's just like more umami packed on.
Wow, that's crazy. I want to try that now.
I know.
Man, you got me.
Definitely, when you guys
here.
come over, we can make some.
I'm down. That's
Or if
crazy.
you guys want to see us make Mabu inspired hamburgers,
yeah, on our channel, let us
yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, both of us can cook. We
Yeah.
like cooking.
And we want to try this recipe, so we're down. If you guys want,
Comment
are
down below if
interested.
you guys want to see us do that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I just remember Angel Beats, good show, great show. It got me hooked on anime.
Yeah, that's one
But
one
that
show that we saw
food-
years ago.
That food, that mabu tofu,
Mhm.
I want to try in a restaurant.
Me too. I actually never heard of any restaurant selling mabu tofu, or if it did, it was weird, like a different iteration. Like it was their own way of making mabu tofu,
I
which
see.
wasn't like it didn't taste the same. So like I didn't want to try it myself. So another thing that I've always wanted to try, but I can never I've never even know of a place that sells it.
Mm-hmm.
Tea pastries.
tea pastries.
Yeah, tea pastries. Like, have you ever seen like animes like Black Butler or Ouran High School Host Club, that type of stuff, where they actually have like tea time and they have like a little tower of like cakes and sandwiches and stuff like that. Those in anime look amazing. Like they have like macaroons or like little cheesecakes.
Because when you said tea pastries, I thought you meant like tea infused pastries.
Oh no, yeah.
Because I was like, dude, we have matcha cupcakes. Yeah, whatever they're called.
No, I mean we tried those. I've tried those, but tea time pastries, if anything, that's what I mean. Because they have such a variety. You know, they have like chocolate, they have vanilla, they have strawberries, they have little whipped cream with cherries on top, that type of stuff, and they always look so delicious. And I've never in my life heard of a place specifically for tea time that gives you those type of pastries or sandwiches. And I've always wanted to try it. Like I've always been interested. I've always like, man, even if it's more feminine, even if it's like very feminine, I've always just wanted to try it at least once in my life. You know, bucket list type of thing. But I don't know if you've seen them. You know what I mean?
Not really.
Like what anime?
Well, I mean, like I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a couple episodes of like Ouran High School.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are just like, I think they're just your general,
like just any
general like
cakes.
tea pastries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's how you can tell how cultured I am.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I never had that.
I mean, you could probably just get like crumpets or something.
True. That's
But yeah, I also, what was I gonna say? Another food to like kick it back to like the OG animators.
Yeah.
And people who watched animes back in the day when we were kids. Freaking what are they called? Damn it, because in
how do they look? What
I was gonna say, so you know how in like the original Kanto season of Pokemon, in the English version, Brock calls them donuts, but they're not donuts. They're the little
onigiri.
Yeah, the onigiris.
Yeah, the little rice balls.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid watching Pokemon. Like I always wanted to try an onigiri.
Me too. I've never had it in my life.
I've had onigiri.
You had one?
Yeah, and
What
it was a really shitty onigiri.
Damn, was it like a truck stop onigiri?
No, it was so at UCI they were having like the club day or whatever, where all the school clubs would come out and have their little booths and stuff, try to recruit members.
Yeah.
And the anime club made onigiri, but I think they made it the night before and they didn't package it well, so half of the onigiri was like all hard because the rice dried out and the other half was all soggy.
Yeah.
And they put like a little bit of salmon, like cooked salmon inside of it, and I was just like, well, that sucks.
He's like, well, thanks for ruining my experience.
Yeah, onigiri is basically like anything. It can have anything inside of it that you want, just wrapped in sushi rice.
I've heard that it's had pickled plums. I've heard that it's had ginger.
I think that's like the OG, like pickled plums.
Yeah, right, like the classic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have smoked salmon. That's another one that I've heard that it has. And I'm not sure what other thing, but it was
have like tuna?
Sweet bean paste.
There you go.
Yeah. And I mean, it all sounds good. Either way, whatever
exactly.
it is, it just sounds delicious.
Like I just remember like watching Pokemon and I would see Brock like pull out a bunch of onigiri and I was like, what is that?
You know, I remember the specific episode where I first saw that, where he pulled it out. It was an episode where where Ash catches a primate or a monkey.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? They're
no, he
eating.
catches primate because I think he gets mad. It's a Mankey that steals his hat, but then he gets mad, and it evolves into primate, and then that's when Charmeleon actually like listens to Ash for the first time and actually fights the primate, and then he captures it.
Yep. And well, at first he steals his onigiri because he was hungry as a Mankey, and then he steals his hat because he was just happy, and then that's when the whole thing was down. But that's the first instance I saw onigiri, and I was just like, yo, I need to try that. That looks good. Which is weird. I actually don't understand why in the English they called it a donut. You know what I mean? It doesn't even look like I think it was Japanese
just
donut.
It was so that way like American kids and people who are watching it in English, especially like in America, they had something to relate to.
Okay, that makes sense. I see. But I mean, they could have just been like snacks. They'd be like, all right, it's snack time, and then they pull it out, and I mean, they don't have to really associate it with anything.
True. Another classic anime food that we always see in animes is omurice, omelet rice.
Oh yeah, the one with the little like omelet on top of it, and they cut it in half and it just spills out. Yo, yes.
I've tried making an omelet rice. It's hard.
No, I've seen the process that it takes. Hard. You need to know exactly what you're doing and time it perfectly. If not, it doesn't come out right.
Yeah, I just give up and make like fried rice with egg.
Yeah, just put it on solid on top.
But yeah, I remember the first time I saw omuraisu. It looks so good.
The first time I saw it, it wasn't even in an anime. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
Yeah, the first time I saw omuraisu was a professional Japanese chef. He was like he's been making omuraisu for like 15 years or so, and he literally puts it on top of rice, cuts it open slowly.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
you
the
just see
same one that I
pour
saw.
out. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I don't know what sauce they put on top of it. Do you know what it is? It's like a little brown or reddish sauce.
Some chefs will make it like they'll make their own sauce or whatever just to have, and it's usually like a blend of I think like soy sauce and some other stuff, and they'll just thicken it with like rice flour.
Yeah.
But I know like the classic one that people just put in home is like ketchup.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
They just use ketchup.
Yeah. But even in general, just like the dish of like having eggs with rice is delicious. I actually
It's
never
also universal
tried that.
amongst cultures.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that,
Yeah.
I just I didn't like. I'm not gonna say I discovered it, but I stumbled upon freaking like like a fried egg where the yolk is runny. With a dash of soy sauce, a little bit of sesame seed oil, and Parmesan cheese.
What are you talking about?
Like over hot rice, over hot white rice. It's so good.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Wait, when you say fried rice, you mean like
no,
like
not fried rice, white rice.
Oh, sorry, no. When you say fried egg, not rice. Sorry. When you say fried egg, do you mean like a sunny side up egg, that type of stuff?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
like
much.
that. Okay.
Well, because the thing is, like, the way that we make eggs in my house is like it's like a sunny side up, but you flip it over.
Yeah.
And so then you cook it for a little bit. Like, so both sides are cooked, but the egg is still runny.
Yeah.
The yolk is still runny.
That's the way I do it, too. Just that way it stays solid and you're able to, like, transport it without breaking.
Exactly.
That sounds great.
It's
what?
so good.
Like, were you just messing around in the kitchen and you're just trying it out? Or how did you stumble up on it?
I was just messing around. I was like... Because I know... So, risotto is basically, like, just rice with some cheese.
Yeah.
That you cook in a specific way or whatever. And I was like, well, they use like Parmigiano
Reggiano.
Yeah, they use that kind of Parmesan. So I was like, maybe it tastes good if I just put it over my white rice. And I did, and I mixed it with the egg and the soy sauce just like gives it a little bit of saltiness without having to put salt.
Yeah.
And also gives it a little bit of umami, so it just wraps it up. And plus Parmesan is like a natural source of umami as well.
That's delicious. I love it.
And I'm just like, God damn.
Now I gotta try it for myself. I'm
right?
so, like, you piqued my interest. Wow, that's amazing.
That's like two recipes we gave in this episode.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
So
you know, speaking of risotto, going back to Food Wars, remember that apple risotto that they made? In
yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I wanted to try it. I've never had risotto in my life, so I've always wanted to try it. And then once I saw that they had the apple risotto, I was like, whoa. Especially because it was like a breakfast dish. I definitely want to try it. It looks so good.
Yeah. I guess to wrap it up a bit so we can move on to the scary story, creepypasta stuff. Yeah. Another dish that I feel like a lot of people who watch anime, or like us otakus, have always wanted to try because it shows up in literally almost every anime.
Oh, which
it's
one?
Freaking hamburger steak.
Oh, the one that's just like a solid round piece of like meat. And they, like, cut it in half. It's just like juicy and delicious.
It's hamburger steak.
True. Yep. I agree.
I feel like a hamburger steak is basically just like a regular ass hamburger.
Me too.
Or
like a thick burger.
No. So I feel like a hamburger steak is like a Salisbury steak, except you don't have like the cranberry sauce.
There you go. Yeah. I agree.
It's basically that.
I mean, every time you look at it, it looks like it is that sort of steak.
Right.
Yeah.
But there has to be something to it, like,
because it doesn't look like it's ground beef. Either, you know.
I don't know. It does. To me, it does look like it's ground beef. Yeah.
Because every time I've seen it, they always cut into it. It looks like solid. It looks like it's like an actual steak, but in the shape of a hamburger patty. Like that's all it looks like to me. But like if you try that with the regular hamburger patty, when you cut into it, you would see that like the fiber is like broken up because it's been like ground up into a patty.
I see, yeah.
So that's why I'm imagining that it's like a solid steak before it's ground up. That type of stuff.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that always looks good.
Yep.
So, moving on to the scary stories, Joven. All right, so we're gonna do one one or two stories, depending, how much time we have, of personal experience of whatever we've survived or our friends have survived or what we heard going around.
Our close encounters of the right kind.
Exactly. And then another story of just either a creepypasta made up or fake story that is still pretty creepy, but that we enjoy ourselves. So what do you have, Jordan? Let's go back and forth, one and one.
It's hard. I don't. Because the thing is, like, there's a lot of creepy things that have happened in my house where, like, a door is shut or, like, I feel like I've seen a ghost or whatever, but it's not, like, when I tell people, it's not that creepy.
It's more of, like...
it's just like, oh, this happened.
Yeah, it's more of, like, it could have been the wind or, like, you could have been your imagination.
Alright, I got one.
Okay.
I got one. So, it's not just me, but because, like, since I'm the youngest in my house, whenever we have guests, it's customary. I don't know if it's customary in like Mexican culture or whatever, but in Filipino culture, you offer your guests who are gonna stay overnight a bed.
Oh,
like
really?
you don't let them sleep on the sofa or anything.
Oh, that they are gonna stay overnight.
Yeah.
Like, okay. You already know.
If they're gonna stay overnight, or if they're gonna stay over a couple nights. You offer them a bed. You don't offer them the sofa or like the futon or whatever.
If anything, you're the one that sleeps on the sofa.
Yeah. So my parents always give them my bed, and I would have to sleep on the sofa.
Yeah.
So that way they have like their own room and whatever.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of guests, especially when I was younger, and all of them have said that when they sleep in my room, they feel like it's haunted.
No way.
Because they feel like
a presence.
They feel like they feel a presence, and they feel that either somebody is watching over them while they sleep, or they feel like somebody is like pushing against them when they sleep. Like it's like a very heavy presence.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they also say that like the room can be really like warm and nice and whatever, like while you're awake, but when you sleep, the room gets cold.
What the heck?
That's what,
like without the
like
window
not
open.
just not
like
without
that?
the window
Traps,
open or anything. Nothing.
What?
That's what they have said. Like
Yeah.
I haven't really experienced it. I've only experienced like getting sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
In my room, but that's the extent of it.
It's like, a lot of people get sleep paralysis and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you maybe that's the reason why you don't feel it, because you sleep in it every day. So maybe to you it's normal. Like you don't really feel the temperature change because you're just like, oh, it's nighttime, so it's much colder. So you feel like maybe it's like that. But that's why to them,
maybe. And this was back then when like my brother still used to live in our house.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know, like my mom swears like that spirit or ghost or whatever was tied to him.
So
because
he left with him.
when he left, like when he left, we totally redid the room again.
Oh, I see.
Like
okay.
we threw away everything, like we moved all the furniture out, we repainted the walls.
Yeah.
So
if anything, if the spirit or presence that people felt, it probably was him. Like it probably did go with him.
Maybe because like I get like in a sense we just made the room like uncomfortable for the presence because we changed it up. It wasn't like what I remember.
Stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I think some people have stayed over, but they haven't mentioned anything.
Yeah.
But that's to the extent of it. Like they just feel they always tell me like, oh, your room's haunted or whatever.
Ooh,
like people who have stayed over, and it's not just like my family saying it or me saying it.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 different people have complained that like they feel like somebody's watching them while they sleep. Your parents
haven't like slept in your room, or your sister or anything like that? Like nobody like close family wise?
No, not really. Because once I left to college, my room was just used as like storage.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like they would put all the stuff in there.
Well, I guess that comes down to you as to like why you don't feel the presence. Like
I don't know. I'm a really heavy sleeper.
Okay, so when the people that slept in your room, were they the same family members? Like were they like your cousins, all of the same family, or were they different, like spread out throughout your family?
No. So the ones who have stayed in my room and have told me was my mom's aunt.
Yeah.
And my mom's sister's family.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the same close family like that. Okay, so that's actually adds another level to it, because that means strangers that don't really contact each other actually like told you the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if it was the same family, they could just talk about it amongst themselves and then just scared each other. But wow, that adds another depth to it. I like that. That's pretty creepy, Joel.
Yeah, it's very creepy.
Oh, maybe.
But
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't feel anything. I'm not creeped out in my own room. I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe the spirit did leave once you guys changed it up or something like
Probably.
that. Hopefully there was no spirit to begin with or no presence, but
I don't know. I don't believe in ghosts.
yeah.
I do believe in like spirits
Mm-hmm.
and stuff and entities, but not ghosts.
So what do you mean? Like you believe in what type of spirits or entities? Cause like do you mean ghosts in the sense of like people's afterlife, that type of stuff, or what
like,
do you mean? Because like some
like,
people,
okay,
some people
so-
consider spirits ghosts as well. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah, yeah. So this is like dipping our toes into religion or whatever,
Okay.
and I'm gonna try to keep it as light as possible.
All right.
So my definitions is like a ghost is someone who has passed away and their spirit is like stuck here.
Okay.
Like they're not in heaven or hell or purgatory. They're
Yeah.
here on the earth because of for whatever reason.
Like unfinished business sort of stuff.
Yeah. Spirits, on the other hand, I feel like, in my own belief, I feel like they're your people who have passed away, and have moved on, but they're able to still like
Contact
see their
us.
family or contact them or
Oh,
whatever.
okay. So that's just more like a strong emotional bond
Yeah.
rather than unfinished business.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
like I believe in spirits. Like you can like after you pass away, you can still visit your family and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But ghost in the sense of like, oh, something's haunted or there's
Oh,
a spirit
I
lingering
see.
around. Like no,
Yeah.
that's bull.
So more like because it's a close family member that you were really attached to and had a lot of love towards.
Yeah.
It makes sense why you would be able to contact them or they would be able to contact you after the
Yeah,
afterlife.
because
But like as a
like in a
random
way,
object.
yeah, in a way to explain it, or in
Mhm.
a way to like make to give it some sense to people that are not me.
Uh-huh.
It's like it goes back to that saying that like love ties us all together.
Yeah.
So
Okay, I see.
and how like in what was it that Matthew McConaughey movie
Which one?
Interstellar.
I actually haven't seen it.
Oh, right, whatever. In Interstellar, like he's able to contact his daughter or whatever, even though he's entered like the fourth dimension or whatever,
Yeah.
because love ties them together.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that. That's my way to explain it to people. That's why I
Yeah.
believe in spirits, because our emotional attachments still keep us tied together even after death.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so like random ghosts, as in like you buy a wardrobe and it's haunted by a spirit you never
Yeah.
even seen. That's more of like fictional to you. That's
Yeah,
more,
exactly.
You don't really believe
That's
that.
just like a campfire story.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
And the only reason why I say that is because, like, when I was in third grade,
Mhm.
well, in second grade I moved into this house,
Yeah.
and in third grade, so we moved into this house like a couple years after my grandpa passed away, because he passed away in 2002.
Yeah.
And we moved into this house in like 2004
Mhm.
or 2003, something like that. So we moved into this house, and like a couple months living into it, I remember like walking to the living room from
Yeah.
my room, and in this chair that we have in our dining room, I remember seeing my grandpa there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like he was just there. He was just sitting. He was just looking, and then I think I like
Told him
turned.
hi? Uh-huh.
I didn't tell him hi or anything. I just saw him, and then I turned, and I looked back, and he wasn't there anymore.
Oh, you
And
just
it's
thought he
like-
like got up and left.
Yeah, and it's like if like love didn't tie us together, how would he know that like I moved into this house?
Yeah.
Or, you know, or like because we didn't live in the same house.
Yeah, like
that
maybe
he knew when he was alive.
Yeah, like maybe he just wanted to see you like
Yeah.
before. one
And then
last
you
time
can
or something
argue
like
that like I was a little kid, I had a vivid imagination or whatever, but
Yeah, of course.
yeah, anyone can believe what they want to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge anyone on that, and that's what I believe. Like I believe I saw my grandpa.
No, definitely. There's just like stories, just to like personal experiences and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
Um,
So yeah, that's just to wrap up my experience.
Nice, not bad. Okay, I agree. The ghost story. I know I told you a ghost story like before we started this
Yeah.
of a Connect machine, like camera and stuff. But I'm actually gonna tell a much creepier story that came to mind right now.
Comment down below if you still want to hear Victor's Connect story.
Definitely. Like, if anything, just like search up
Well,
like Connect cameras
yeah.
for like ghost hunting videos, and you'll see how that works. And then if you're interested, like comment down below, and I'll tell you guys the story.
We'll tell you guys in the next podcast.
Yeah, definitely. But as for this story, it's more of a like it's creepier because we went to a cabin last year.
Oh.
You know, like well, it's 2 years ago now technically.
Yeah.
The first time we ever went to a cabin, and it was like deep in the woods, up in Big Bear, and we like the cabin was alone. It was surrounded by forests, and the closest other cabin was like down the street. So you actually had to like drive if you don't want to walk into like the cold night air.
Oh, I see.
And it was snowing, so it's better to drive rather than like freeze your butts off. But it was a cabin that we rented for like 3 days or so, and we were sleeping and it only had 2 rooms and there was 4 of us. So there was a couple, which was our friend Rocio and her boyfriend, our friend Edward, the one that actually appears in some of our podcasts, and myself. So there was only 2 rooms, meaning that like I kind of didn't want to share a room with Edward, just to be polite. So I let him have that room, and
you didn't want to hotbox the room with your gas.
No, I didn't want to turn around and feel something weird.
Yeah, go on.
And there was like a pull-out sofa bed, so I was like, I'll take the sofa bed. You can take the room. And of course, Rocio and her boyfriend had like their own room, so that way, because they're a couple, and so I was sleeping in the living room. Everybody went to sleep early because we were having too much fun and they were all tired. So I let them sleep. The doors were all closed, and I was by myself. I was watching movies because it was like around 11 p.m. and I was like, well, let me get myself sleepy and tired so that way I could just knock out quick and not feel anything. So I fell asleep with the PS4 on because I was watching Netflix. And you know how Netflix stops and you're still watching? Yeah, so it was at that point when I fell asleep, it did that, so it was all quiet. And I was sleeping on the sofa when I felt someone like either touch my arm or scratch it. Like all I remember is waking up in a jolt because I felt something like on my arm. Ugh. So I was like, I could have been, I thought it was myself or something because I was still half asleep. So I woke up and I saw that like Netflix was on and the PS4 was on, so I turned everything off. I was like, let me go to sleep. Edward was still in his room. Rocio were in the room. Everything was quiet. And I heard something move in the kitchen. Because it was from the living room. It was a little doorway that you could look into the kitchen. The kitchen was small. It was a little far away, but you could still see into it. And the kitchen light was off. The only light was in the living room. And I heard something like plates rattling. And the plates were in the cupboards. So it's weird, maybe I actually thought maybe it's a rat. So I got up, I went to look, and it wasn't like a little tiny noise that you could say I was just hearing things. It was actually like when someone picks up a plate and then they drop it on another plate, so you could hear that ceramic like hit, like where you fear that it breaks. It was like that loud. So I was like, what the heck? Like, I need to check this out. I need to report this to the people that own the cabin. I went in there, nothing. Nobody was there. No plate was broken. No plates were moved. So I was like, okay, I guess maybe it was my imagination. I turned off the lights again. Make sure that the back door, because the back door of the cabin was through the kitchen. So I made sure the back door was closed. I made sure that all the curtains were drawn because I didn't want to see anything outside. Outside was literally just darkness and trees and snow.
That's crazy, man.
Like, if anything, all you saw was like a little glimmer of light from the house down the street that people were still awake. But like it was so far away that like you actually have to be like squinting your eyes to actually see the light.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I drew all the curtains and all the blinds. I went back to sit down on the sofa by myself, and I was still a little creeped out, so I didn't fall asleep right away. I pulled out my phone and I was like laying down with my phone on, and I was starting to fall asleep again when I guess my curiosity or my fear got the best of me, and I looked towards the kitchen just to make sure before I fall asleep that it was just my imagination. Just to make sure that it was just my imagination that like I heard something, right?
Yeah.
That was a bad move because actually I haven't told Rocio or Edward about this.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, and if Rocio, you're listening, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure I told you like how scary it really was.
This was for your own protection.
Yeah, it freaked her out in the first day, so like, yeah. But I looked into the kitchen, and I saw like half of a person.
Oh.
You know what I mean, like body and shoulder outline sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like a little glisten, like a little like outline from the light from the living room. So it was like the light that was like seeping into the kitchen that was reflecting off little pots and pans that were like in there on the outside, like the toaster or something. I saw the outline of a head and shoulder, and I was like, maybe that's just some stuff in there that's pots or plates. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And right before I fell asleep, I looked at it one more time, and I saw it move. Like I saw it like
that's
if
weird.
like someone like whatever was watching me caught me looking at them, and they quickly moved out of the way so that like I didn't see them. So again, my fear got the best of me. So I stood up again, went to the kitchen.
Asleep?
I couldn't. After that,
Really?
I'm just like,
Because
nope.
that's what I do. I'm just like, I get creeped out, and I'm like,
No, because if I fall asleep, I start having nightmares about that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And if anything, I makes it worse for myself.
I see.
So I have to, debunk this mystery. I have to actually prove to myself that it's just in my mind.
Yeah.
So I got up, I went over there, and I was like, maybe it was like, someone outside walking in the snow, some idiot drunk or something walking in the cold night, passed by the light that was shining through, and I just saw that, I just saw someone right there. And if anything, it's creepy that someone's outside looking into the cabin, so I wanted to make sure no one was there to like, shoo them away or something. But there was nothing, again. So after that, I couldn't sleep. I just stayed sitting in the sofa, and to the point where literally like I just got so tired, I knocked out without even realizing it.
Dang.
I fell asleep sitting on the sofa with my phone in my hand and my mouth open, like just like like snoring. And that's when I heard a tapping at the window behind me.
Oh, damn.
So the living room was set up that the sofa that had the bed, right behind that sofa was a big glass window that looked out into the little patio that had like a table and chair, and you could just relax out there, but it was covered in snow. And I heard tapping at the window, like right behind me. And I woke up and I looked behind me, and of course the windows was drawn, the curtain was drawn, so I had to like move to the side, and all I just saw was darkness. So I was like, what the heck, like what's going on? So again, I couldn't sleep. And that was just the first night. And the second night, again, I felt a presence. Like I felt like someone was watching me.
That's crazy.
I could not shake the feeling that like someone was just standing there looking over me every time I like closed my eyes to fall asleep.
That's really crazy.
So in those 3 nights that we spent at the cabin, I did not sleep. I literally slept when the sun was out, when the other people were awake, and I slept like 4 hours or so. And that's the only sleep I got, because every time when I was alone at night, I just kept hearing stuff and feeling people watching me that I was just, nope, I can't do this. I can't. Alone in the cabin in the woods and feeling these presence and hearing these things, like,
Feels, that's like some cabin in the woods stuff.
Exactly.
When people are like watching you.
Yeah, right?
Oh,
so,
man.
I mean, of course, it could have been my imagination, because I was like in a new place, and it was like, again, the cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
So I could have just made myself like paranoid. But the fact that I actually saw things moving and heard them right next to me, that actually woke me up, and I felt like someone on my arm, was too much for me to actually just dismiss it as like my imagination, and just wasn't able to sleep.
I see.
So that was my creepy experience. Nothing, no solid evidence that like actually it was a haunting or something, but it was enough that it didn't let me get a sound sleep.
Fair enough.
So I was creeped out.
Yeah.
So any other story that you have, Jolyn? Like, have you heard of any like creepypastas or made up stories that
Not really.
you really like got your attention?
Not really, no.
No?
I'm not like I've said in multiple podcasts, I'm not a fan of horror.
Yeah.
So I don't like actively go out and seek horror films or stories and stuff like that. I'm getting better at it.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting better at watching horror films and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's one thing you actually have to get used to. Like, I've been watching horror films since I was like a little kid, so it's like the more you watch it, the more desensitized you get to it.
Yeah.
To the point where you realize it's like, of course it's just a movie, so you have nothing to fear.
Yeah.
But of course, there's people out there that might think, oh, because you watch so many scary movies, that's the reason why you start hearing shit or seeing stuff.
Maybe.
Your imagination gets the best of you.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, to close it off, you want me to tell the story of what my friend told me, of what she encountered?
I guess we got time.
Yeah. One last.
We're like at 50 minutes.
All right. One last quick story. I'll try to make it quick. I'm not really gonna say her name, but she's a friend of mine. She's a girlfriend of one of my friends, and she told me the story of where she used to live. So she has a sister that has. I'm not sure. She's she's I don't know why schizophrenic keeps coming into my mind.
Autistic.
Autistic. Thank you. Thank you so much. God, brain fart. So she has a sister that's autistic, and she kept talking to herself. You know, like normally it was just like murmuring of like stuff that she learned or just her stuff that she heard. Other times it was talking to like a character that she saw on a TV show or a cartoon. She would just like make friends like that and just start talking to herself. Then there was this one time when she was talking to herself, and my friend went up to her sister and was like, "Hey, who are you talking to?" And her sister said, "Oh, I'm talking to this little boy. He's a white little boy in old style clothing." And my friend was like, "Oh, well." She thought back up to what they saw, what movie they saw, or what show they saw, and they saw a period movie. You know, it was one of those movies that like takes you back to like the 1920s or so, like in the Industrial Revolution. So of course, seeing a white little boy in the old time clothing would wasn't too strange. So she was like, "Oh, my sister's talking to another one of her characters, so that's fine." She dismissed it. 6 years later, like she constantly kept hearing her sister talk to the little boy, but 6 years later passed by that they were having a family party, and she went out to go get her iPod from a car, and they had a huge tree in the front yard, and as soon as she walked out of the house, she saw a little white boy in old clothing, but he was facing the tree, like his back was to her. He was facing the tree, and she lived in a neighborhood where there was a lot of mischievous little kids in other houses, so she just thought it was one of them playing a prank on them, or like playing hide and seek or something like that. So she just like called out to him. She was like, "Hey, little boy, are you lost? Or can I help you? What's wrong?" And the little kid didn't move, didn't budge an inch. So she got a little closer, and she was like, "Hey, look, I'm getting kind of creeped out. If you don't answer or respond to me right now, I'm gonna go back in, call my mom, and hopefully we can help you find your mom. All right?" As soon as she finished her sentence, the little kid like turned to her a little to the side, you know, kind of like when you're trying to look over your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the little kid did that, and she noticed that like the kid didn't have a face.
Oh, what the hell?
She like he had the like the outline of the eye, you know, like a little shadow and stuff.
Yeah.
But no features, no eyebrows, no freckles.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was just white, and as soon as she saw that, she just like ran back in, and she was like, "I'm not getting my iPod. Like, screw that. That's too creepy." And the creepiest part is that the day after the party, after she saw that little boy, her sister came up to her and she said, "Oh, hey, I heard you talk to my friend."
Oh, that's really creepy.
And her sister was like, "What are you talking about?" Well, I mean, my friend was like, "What are you talking about?" And her sister said, "Yeah, my friend told me that you saw him outside playing in the tree, so he just wanted to say hi."
That's really creepy.
And I was like, once she told me that, I was like, "No way!" Like it was a full body operation to her, but she never told anybody, like none of her family, because she knew that no one were gonna believe him. But the fact that her sister came up to her and told her that cemented in her mind that what she saw was real. So I was like, that's mind blowing, in my part. But yeah, you know, those are the stories I got.
I guess that's pretty creepy.
Right?
God damn. All right, well, with that, we're going to wrap up. Hopefully, none of you guys are hearing this at night. None of you guys are creeped out, and you can all sleep good.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoyed.
You guys have any stories, creepy stories, you can obviously write them down below. Let us know. Also, tell us what anime foods you've been dying to try, from what anime they're from.
If you actually made the recipe and actually, you know, send us some pictures, we'd love to see them.
Yeah, definitely. You can DM us on Instagram at Jumblhoj. You can tweet us a picture on Twitter at Jumblhoj, or you can just comment down here below on our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, thank you for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Stay beautiful.